Hi, everyone. Nikki DeLoach here, and I am with some of your favorite Hallmark stars who are starring in the third weekend of Countdown to Christmas Movies on Hallmark Channel. Everybody say hello to Warren Christie, Caroline Ray, Beth Broderick. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So we have a couple of questions that Hallmark sent our way. We're going to get started. Our first question is, we are excited for the third weekend of Countdown to Christmas with Our Holiday Story and Holiday Mismatch. So without giving away any spoilers, can we all share a little bit of our movie storylines? Caroline and Beth, why don't we start with you guys?
Well, Hallmark came to me and they offered me this beautiful movie, and it was about two mothers who have kids who are trying to fix their children up and fix their lives. And so I thought, well, I know the perfect person to do this with. And then so it's Beth and I play Kath and Barbara, two very different mothers who are trying to fix up their children, and I'm fixing up my daughter, unbeknownst to. Well, it's sort of the mismatch. There's like an element of like parental busybodiness that happens that I don't really want to blow the storyline.
Yeah, let's just say like we both come together. We're working for the local Christmas committee for the local Chamber of Commerce, and we're very different people, which we are in real life. We are on camera. Barb is like a very uptight sort of accountant, introvert, weirdo, which is me. And Kath is, very ebullient, celebratory, extrovert, which is Caroline. So the two of us together in the movie try to navigate getting along, and so that we can deploy Christmas joy in town, and then we also have to navigate our children's relationship.
We're basically constantly hired to play ourselves with better hair and makeup. That's it. We're a variation on a theme. We can be witches, we can be mothers. It's the same dynamic.
100%.
Beth, and also I will say, Beth, if you're saying that you're a little bit of a weirdo, you are a beautiful weirdo. Okay.
Thank you.
You got it.
I love the
Same
story of me and Caroline, and like towards the end of the first year on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, we're walking to set, and she turns to me and she goes, "Oh my God, you're a nerd. You're a huge nerd." And I was like, "You just now got that? Like, really? Just now?"
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we roll.
What do you like to nerd out about?
Oh, I'm super, super obsessed with words and numbers and words and writing and games, and like I'd rather read. I'm not great. I can do being around tons of people, but I'd rather read. Caroline's great.
I introduced her to Wordle, and she's like, "What's this? Oh, I did it in 7 seconds." I'm like,
That's impressive.
Like mini crossword in like 1 second. Yeah.
That is super, super impressive. So Beth, then being on those buses with us for the holiday bus tour, that must have been a real overwhelming day for you.
There was a lot going on. There was a lot of energy.
Yes.
On the way back from Blue Hill, everybody was dancing and carrying, and one guy was hanging from the rafters of the bus.
That was Andrew Walker. That was Andrew.
I was like, Mama needs to go home and go to bed. I need a book in the biggest way. But we got through it, and it was fun, really. But I got to watch from the back and just hold on tight.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Well, okay, so the next question is for myself and Warren. Our holiday story tells the tale of how Dave and Nell's relationship unfolds. Oh, wait, Warren, I totally missed you. Can you talk about our movie?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Our story is that my daughter is coming home for Christmas, and she is bringing her boyfriend for the first time. Through some strange events, she gets delayed and he gets stuck with Nikki and I, makes the mistake of asking us how we met, and we go into a very detailed story with all sorts of flashbacks and what happened, and we basically tell our story, how we fell in love, all the serendipitous moments, all the misses, all the struggles, because it's not always that smooth, and we basically regale him with our story throughout the entire thing of just how we fell in love around the holidays.
Yes, that's perfect.
I'm watching that one. I think I like that. Or you just did a much better sales pitch. I don't know.
No, Caroline, it actually is really cool. The script was written by Joie Bakken, who is one of my favorite holiday writers at Hallmark. She just does such a good job. And then Angie Polk was our executive, and Jason Bork was the director. And Warren, I mean, like, it was such a good team, right?
Oh, it was unbelievable. And to me, it was the storytelling tool of the flashbacks, which for us as actors is so fun because one of my favorite things is you see us meeting, but you also know in regular time, like we are together, and you can see one of the great things is those things that at first seemed like obstacles became these things that they just adore about each other. And I think that's relationships in general, right? The things that were kind of...
It's a fantasy film.
It was,
it is. It's a magical realism. Magical realism.
But it was a beautiful storytelling tool. It was set out wonderfully. Everybody involved was incredible. So for us, it was fun to bounce back and forth between these two time periods with these subtle changes. And yeah, it was really beautifully written.
Warren,
it
are
was.
you Canadian?
Pardon me?
Are you Canadian?
I am, yeah.
Me too.
No way. Where are you from?
Montreal, and that's where we filmed.
Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah,
Caroline. I was just going to say real quick, Caroline, you know, I've never been to Montreal, which is supposed to be like one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
It is.
I've never been either, and it's gorgeous.
That was one of the best things about doing this movie. I saw parts of Montreal I'd never even seen growing up, like Laval-sur-le-Lac. Like, it was gorgeous. Of course, you know, we're wearing winter coats in 100-degree weather, but we had crazy weather. It was like, oh, it's all 4 seasons in today.
In a day. Yeah. But we also got to hike up and see where Caroline went to school and her old house. So I got to see a lot of elements of her childhood that I never knew or got to see.
I know. I took him on a walking tour of Montreal. Warren,
that's so cool.
I was born in Ireland, but I moved to Canada and basically grew up in London, Ontario.
Okay, cool. I like the way that you just said Ireland.
Ireland. You got to lean into it a little bit.
Nikki, what part of the Midwest are you from?
Not the Midwest, my husband is, but I'm from South Georgia, like 30 minutes north of the Florida line, from the country.
Where? Which place?
So it's a small town called Blackshear, and when I was growing up, there was like 1 traffic light. We now have, I think, 4, but it's still super small. My family lives on a farm. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful, but it's a haul to get there. It takes all day.
I bet.
I'm going tomorrow. Well, I'll continue. Warren, I'm going to give this one to you. So our holiday story tells the tale of how Dave and Nell's relationship unfolds. So are there any lessons they learn that help them grow individually as a couple? You start, and then I'll tell Nell's.
Okay. I think to go back to what I was saying before, it's these things that originally seemed like obstacles, these things that they're differences that may at times seem insurmountable. What you realize is they were really perfect for each other by being imperfect. They were one person find that strength is their weakness, and it balances them out. And we're so busy sometimes looking for the person that's like us and that we want to be, but realistically, that's not always what we need. And I think that their journey from when you first see them, and we do have struggles. Like there is moments you're not sure with these characters. And then when you get to see them in present time, you can see, like I said before, that they've just become these little idiosyncrasies that they really adore about each other. And maybe the other one didn't even know they needed as much in their life. That's what I loved about it.
That's so perfectly said. I have nothing to add. I love doing this with you because your answers are wonderful. But I will say, because the next question asks a similar question about the story of Julia and her boyfriend Cooper. So your daughter and the boyfriend that comes and gets stuck with us. So the beauty of this is like, because when I first read it, I was like, well, if the audience knows we're together, then what are the stakes of, what are the stakes of this love story? And Joie and Angie were really smart in bringing in that younger couple, your daughter, and really kind of making them have the stakes. So we see the stakes in the past with our characters of Dave and Nell, but in the future, we see that those same stakes are playing out for your daughter and her boyfriend, where he's not sure this is going to be it's going to work out. Are they so different that they can't actually come together? And I think at the base of it is that story of like, sometimes it's the juxtaposition of who we are that actually makes us work together so perfectly. Your daughter is a lot like you, and her boyfriend is a lot like me, in like the character wise, but we help them through telling our story. We help them to see that, like, no matter what your differences are, if that love is there, it's worth fighting for. So I loved that about our story, because that can actually pertain to not just a love story, but story with family and friends and everybody.
Sure.
Right?
I did an interview yesterday with someone who had seen it and had the screener. And, you do see that we're together in the beginning, so you understand it. But there was also moments that weren't that easy. And you can see the struggle. And they're relatable struggles to people who are in relationships. So even though the final ending of how it's going to be and these two people end up together, I think that we worked hard to earn moments where, not that you weren't sure, but people can relate to being like, yeah, it's not always that easy. Like, you have to fight for it. You have to figure it out.
Oh, yes.
In serendipity, it has to be sometimes you got to really want to dig in and fight for it. And so I think that those moments along the way helped, and also helped to indicate their love story as well, right? The same thing they're going through now. We're trying to show, yeah, you can go through these things. It doesn't have to always be easy, but if you stick it out, great things can happen. So I think that they really did balance each other out really beautifully.
That's so true. So Caroline and Beth, first off, viewers are thrilled. Everybody's so thrilled to see you two reunite. And I got to see a lot of that joy and happiness when we were doing the holiday bus tour, Beth, of like how excited fans were to see the two of you guys together in a holiday movie. Can you
talk last week at the house?
Yeah.
It's at 1.4 million views.
Stop it.
Just announcing that we were doing something together.
Yeah.
They're young kids and they're like, well, I've never watched Hallmark before, but I'm watching it now. So I was like, yeah, come.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I love hearing that. Can you guys share with us how it was working on screen together again? Just a little bit about it?
Well, I mean, it's heaven. Because we live in a comic world together that's very special. It's very unique. We're both individuals as people. We're both givers. We both have accountants who over the years have said, please stop buying other people cars. Like we're both very giving people. And so I think
so awesome.
I think that's one of the reasons that we connect so well together in comedy on screen, is because we both have that nature to begin with, and so we're on each other's side, 100%. So
just to answer that question that you just asked, that
yeah,
I think you should always be cast with people because it's just you because unfortunately you get no rehearsal process on these movies.
No,
like, not one day. So if you actually know the person and you already have a shared history and you're bringing that, it's such a gift that you don't have to be like, especially with you guys when you're playing like love interests, like it'd be nice to hear the person.
It's so true. You kind of have to like form like intimacy so quick and with no time and no history and none of that. And it is hard to do. And then you have to make the movie in 15 days. And then if you have to do that, scene at the end of the movie on day one, then it's like really, really hard, which I've had to do before.
Yeah, we have the cutest little kids, Maxine Dennis and John McLaren plays Beth's son. And they are so adorable, these two kids. They're not kids. He's 40 and she's a little bit younger, but they were kissing on like day 2. And I just thought, you don't. I remember I had to kiss a friend of mine in a movie and it was like day 1 and he's my friend. I had no desire to kiss him. And this, it's like any romance on screen is not in any way romantic. I literally remember counting like 5, 6, 7, 8, stop kissing. You know what I mean? You guys must have to do that. Like it is weird that you really can feel the connection, but in the meantime, you're not really, I don't know.
Yeah.
We had the beauty of like find this connection, and we're very fortunate. We work in a similar way, so we found this really connection, and then cut to the next day where we have to start fresh, like you're saying, like we don't know each other, into each other. So you get lucky. Obviously, Nikki's phenomenal, so you get lucky where
Thanks,
people
Warren.
work a similar way and understand what you're dealing with here. It's 15 days. It's like not a lot of time. There's not a lot of prep, so you just got to kind of dive in and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Oh yes. And I will say Warren is a very, very good kisser for all the ladies out there watching.
Wow.
You go, Warren. You go.
He's a great kisser. Take it. Put it in your back pocket.
Nikki, you get the best rub. You're married, but then you are paid to kiss another man. I mean, come on.
Often. I do have another question for you, Caroline and Beth. So Holiday Mismatch follows our characters, Barbara and Kath, who clash over a Christmas committee meeting. How do their children's love life help your characters see each other in a new light?
I think it's that, well, for me, it's that, I have a daughter and she's 16 and she's full on the love of my life. So I think it's when you see it through your kid's eyes and think, oh my gosh, my child wants this. And then you kind of go, uh-oh, I made a mistake. I gotta, think how she's thinking. That's how it was for me.
And I think, our characters do have real chemistry together. They actually have fun together. They just have a hard time admitting that because they are so different and they're both stubborn. But I think knowing that our kids are kind of hurting there at one point in the story, it really, forces us to get ourselves together and
Help them.
Advocate on their behalf. So,
yeah, I love that. This next one is for all of us. The premise of both movies.
I feel like you have like a talk show at home that you play, Nikki, and then you're like, okay, Nikki, what do you think of this? Well, Nikki,
it's just me and my cat.
I know.
My children won't put up with it. It's just me, my cat, and my dog.
I know. One other moderator. No, Nikki. Yes, Nikki. Go ahead, Nikki.
Yes, Nikki. Go ahead, Nikki.
Nick Eye. Okay, go ahead. Your cat's like, get a friend, lady. What is happening?
Yeah, get a friend, get a life, get something. We're so tired of you and your voice.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 7 and 11, newly 7 and 11. And then I have a cat and a dog and a lizard named Melissa.
They're all named Melissa?
No. Yes, that would make it a lot easier whenever one of them does something and I don't just yell all of their Windsor, Hudson, Bennett. I literally do that thing that my mother did. And I was like, why can't she remember anyone's names? And now I'm that person. But yeah,
they serious Hallmark names you just mentioned for your children.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. So the premise of both of our movies is showcasing that determination and fate play an important part in any growing relationship. So what are each of our own perspectives of having a successful relationship and friendship?
I'll start. Caroline and I have been friends for 30 years now. Maybe it's 30
28.
Years.
28.
28 years. And friends and really sort of chosen family. And, I have to say, it's not about always being perfect,
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're family. Like, if she called and said, don't ask questions, I'm in North Korea, can you get here? I would find a way to go, So, that's just how that is. So
I'm sending Nikki to North Korea if you There's 2 of her. One of them won't be missed. Where's other Nikki? She's in North Korea.
She's handling it. Don't worry about it.
She's during the Hallmark Mr. Christmas of North Korea.
I am actually all of my friends in case of emergency. So I have to leave my phone on during the night, not on silent, in case any of them call and they need anything. So like, Beth, I get it. I get having friends, like how important it is to have that friend where you're like I'm in a ditch. It's 4 a.m., but can you come get me? That's awesome that you guys have that.
I bet you if you asked most of the Hallmark leads, I bet you, because I know a lot of the women and obviously both of us, if you asked if you were the emergency contact, I bet most of them are. I think that a lot of that, I think those actresses have that, everybody has that kind of like, neighbor, best friend quality to them, more than, you know, like an icy cold. Sometimes like a leading actress is, you know, stereotyped like that. I think that there's a lot of warmth to all the actresses that I see on Hallmark. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know that,
I feel like people know, like they think they know you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think that that is part of being on this network, because it's not just being able to do the material. There's something that comes through you, because we do have the honor and the gift of being able to interact with our audience so much on this network and kind of being brand ambassadors. And so much of that means that you're so heart forward and you care a lot. And so I think you're absolutely right, Caroline.
I have a joke in my act. I think it applies to Warren. I can only speak for you, okay? And the two Nikkis and Beth. But I have a joke that some celebrities are very intimidating. I'm the kind of celebrity where fans eventually say to me, I've got to go. Like, I'm always like, well, what about the rest of your family? They loved Mrs. Miracle too. I want to hear about that. Like, I think it's just that, like you kind of have that feeling in the Hallmark movies that they're kind of reaching, you know, through the screen a bit, like, yeah, come on. Yeah. And I also think I guess it's just relatability. That's what the quality I would give, well, certainly to everybody here. So
for sure.
What I see with it too is like it's a very old school system where they do use a lot of the same actors, and that accessibility is so special to the fans and to the people.
It's like the studio system. It's so fun.
Exactly what it is.
It's so fun.
Because that they feel like they have such a connection, and it's become just this thing. And because it's been going for a while now, with especially the countdown to Christmas, and you can watch, and they're multi-generational, right? You can watch them with your kids, and then also your kid goes away to college and they come back. Well, we watch this every year still, and they're adults and we watch this every year still.
Yeah.
It's just something very special that other networks have tried to replicate, and just, they don't do it the same way Hallmark does. It's a very special thing.
I think honestly, Hallmark was smart, because Beth and I have 4 generations. We're on our 4th generation of kids watching Sabrina, because that's never, amazing. Ever gone off the air.
It's crazy. I mean, we knew when we were making it that it was a good show and that it would find an audience, but we didn't realize it would find an audience for 30 years.
You know, it's so funny. I went to a psychic, a very family-friendly one, okay? And before Sabrina started, and he said, the show that you start in September will be on the air for 7 years. And I remember thinking, because I was, whatever. I thought,
I can finally renovate my backyard.
No, I was like, I don't want to be on a show for 7 years. What are you talking about? And then, and I, like, literally, like, my mother was like, have you lost your mind? You will say yes to that show. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
I think that was, don't you feel like, I mean, that was definitely, like, in terms of my life, I can't speak for Beth, but like, it really feels like, in the story of your life, you know, there's certain things like I had a talk show and it got canceled, and I thank God every day it got canceled, because it got canceled, and then I went back on the road to do stand-up, and my opening act was this hilarious comedian named Kostaki Economopoulos. He was headlining, and then he and I were together for 7 years, and we have a daughter. So like, it's one of those like I always think, like, you think when something is bad, it's never really bad. It's just pushed you along the road, you know? Mm-hmm. And I just think that Sabrina was so meant to be a part of our life. I'm sure between Beth and I, we've gone to more children's hospitals. We've done, you know, like you sort of become an ambassador for that. And then the fact that it's still on, and then they're going to see us, and now we really are 600 years old. I mean, it's very...
I think I'm 689, but I can't quite get the math right.
I know, we were always 600, and then they were sort of at our age, and then, you know, someone on Reddit would be like, "You are actually 651."
Yeah, no, I'm better with words than numbers, but
yeah.
You know, and you have to.
Can I ask you a question? Did you know when you were shooting it, something about this is going to click? Did you feel it?
We got picked up for 2 years, our 2nd episode.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it hadn't aired yet.
Oh wow!
Right? It was, yeah.
I knew when I read the script that it was going to be a hit. I just knew it.
Well, Beth says that she saw me at the audition, and she was like, "Well, that's her, and that's me, and that's."
I did. I saw you sitting there, and I was like, "Well, there she is."
Right.
Well, I'd been there a while. And like
Yeah.
there were other ladies in and out, and then finally you came, and I was like, okay, now we're good. Now we've got it. But I did want to say about Hallmark too. People think of it as an old-fashioned sort of network, and it is in some ways. But they're also really cutting edge in terms of a lot of the companies that are making product right now, in terms of their embracing of diversity, both age, size, ethnic background, the way that they're telling different kinds of stories and trying to include all kinds of people in the audience, and so that they can also see their stories told. And so I think, as much as it is something that is, completely reliable, it's not never changing. It's constantly evolving, and they're doing a better and better job of including everyone in the story of Christmas, and in the story of these these moving tales that get told on the network. So I mean, you got to give them a lot of credit for that.
Oh yeah.
Well said, Beth. Well said. That's going to take us to our rapid fire as we close out this. Okay, so
Nikki 1 and 2. What's your birthday? What are you?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay. And what about you, Warren? What are you?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, well, that was a good chemistry match for Hallmark.
Very.
Cool.
And Warren, then that means your birthday's coming up. When's your birthday?
It is on. It's on Monday.
It's on Monday. Happy early birthday.
Very much, thank you. I'm a big Christmas guy, so need to get Halloween out of the way so I can get into Christmas tomorrow. I'm more excited about Christmas than I am my own birthday, to be honest with you.
We are witches. This is our national holiday. Can we enjoy Halloween for 5 seconds?
Yeah, I was gonna say
this is our Christmas, okay? Before the other Christmas. There, see?
There we go.
I'm sorry, I had to just put something in. This is my Halloween costume. Because I can still look fetch, but I have a little.
Okay, so would you rather, that's very actually true. Would you rather host Christmas or travel for the holidays? We'll start with you, Caroline, and then Beth, and then Warren.
I literally hosted Christmas last year for the first time. And I think I made like the most elaborate, it looked like a department store. I had like Christmas, like literally in 3D. We have 2 trees. One of them is pink. One of them is real. Like,
I love that.
And how, like, I love my sisters, but nobody can get you in a fight or a bad mood faster than a sibling,
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, like my sister said to me casually, she's like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you had dad's feet." And I was like in a bad mood for a week. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I had the most unbelievable Christmas play. And my sister goes, "Oh, you didn't have time to get any decorations?" And I was like, and I'm like, "No, I am not hosting Christmas again." So that was a long answer, but travel. I will go travel.
Awesome. Okay.
My sister does the best one. Yeah, she does.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
What about
Beth,
you,
what about
Nikki?
Me? That's a tough one because
You're a control freak. I bet you want to host.
It's a tough one. Well, I feel like I do a lot like during the year, like the Dance to End Alzheimer's was my 5th charity fundraising event this year. And so Christmas is the time that I like to, like on Christmas Day, I don't want to do anything. Like I want to open the gifts and be with the kids, but I don't want to clean anything up. I don't want to do anything. So actually it's kind of the opposite for Christmas in some ways, because obviously if I hosted, then I have to cook everything. I have to clean up everything. I have to do everything. And it's just the one time of year where I get to just do nothing. So I kind of like to travel, but now that I have kids, they really want to be home. So I would say host Christmas. Beth, what about you?
Well, I love to cook. I am a huge fanatical cook, so I'm hosting. And I'm cooking everything.
You have to tell them what you cooked while we were on set. It's like literally like MacGyver. She would like
in my hotel room that had a little hot plate kind of a thing, and I'm like, well, I took one of the creamers that came with the coffee set, and I read this, and I burst some tomatoes on a thing, like I made like incredible meals on this little crazy hot plate in our hotel room. because I hate going out. I'd rather cook.
No, she's like a
impressive.
serious gourmet cook. Like that's where we're very different. Like I like nothing, but she can like beautiful cakes and everything.
That's awesome. Warren, what about you? Host or travel?
Travel. I've got a very weirdly overly romanticized view of airports in general, which is crazy. And I think I just like, but especially around the holidays, because I've been there so often where you're racing home to see people, you know, you've got presents, you're hoping they're going to get there. You see people coming together, sadly see people saying goodbye, like all this different stuff.
Oh.
I love the airport, but around the holidays, even though it's madness, it's got an extra special kind of vibe to it.
I really appreciate
I love it.
that you embrace that. It's such a good perspective because it's going to be nutty anyway. Why not like find beauty inside of it?
Yeah, I find I've always, like I said, year round, I have this very overly romanticized, especially because travel is so brutal these days, but especially around the holidays, I just remember being there and going places and the anticipation of someone and the excitement. So I have this very overly romanticized idea of it.
That's wonderful.
You don't travel next for a living. Come on. Seriously? I can't believe you love travel. Oh.
Okay, guys.
I think seriously wrong.
Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day? Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve? Real?
I know. Growing up, Christmas Eve at our house was huge. You got to open a present, which was crazy and exciting. As you got one, it grew into this thing where it turned into a huge party, our Christmas Eves, and I still try to do that. We kind of have where we live, where it's like if you come by, that vibe. And I love Christmas Day. Don't get me wrong, and everything about it. But Christmas Eve has always had this very, very. We used to go, to church, and you would sing, carols. There was all of this stuff. A lot of
Christmas Eve. Yeah, that's pretty.
I love that. I love that feeling.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Nikki, what about you?
Christmas Day. Yeah, it's so fun. It's perfect.
Actually, when you have kids, it's the most fun
It's just the most fun. It's so awesome. I mean, and also thank God, like then you just get to pour all your attention and love into them and just sit back and like watch the magic. And my kids are still, at the age where like they believe in the magic of all of it. So it's still super fun. Yeah. What about, okay, final this or that, eggnog or hot cocoa?
Chardonnay.
Yes, Beth, yes.
Like that.
What would you say, Warren, eggnog or hot cocoa?
Oh, cocoa. I'm sorry to say this, but I think eggnog is disgusting. Sorry to alienate some people, but it's just not my thing.
The only person.
It's not even a choice. It's so clearly hot cocoa. I mean,
it's so clearly hot cocoa.
That's like you're like Santa or a poke in the eye. Like, yeah.
Totally. But you know what? Some people do like it. Like everybody knows, all our audience will know Erin Cahill, who's like one of my best friends, and she actually loves eggnog. And I'm like, gross. That is the weirdest thing, but she loves it. She loves it. And I don't understand.
Have you and she ever played sisters?
No, but I would love that. I mean, just to be with her for 3 weeks would be like such a gift. The two of us would have so much fun.
Yeah, you look like you could be sisters.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I'll take that as a huge compliment. I think she's so beautiful. Okay, guys, we are at the wrap. Thank you for joining us. All of you, thank you so much for joining us. And you can watch the premiere of Our Holiday Story this Saturday, November 2nd, and a Holiday Mismatch Sunday, November 3rd, starting at 8/7 Central on the Hallmark Channel. So make sure to tweet along while you are watching using hashtag Our Holiday Story and hashtag Holiday Mismatch. Any final words anybody wants to say before we say goodbye?
Merry Halloween. Is that appropriate? I don't know.
Perfectly appropriate. Warren?
No, I think Merry Halloween summed it up so perfectly. I don't want to traipse on it.
I love your toque, by the way. Even though as Canadians we can only both appreciate your hat.
I love called it a toque.
That's what I'm saying. They don't call them toques here. They call them beanies.
I know.
I'm always saying to someone, I'm like, oh my God, that's such a cute toque, and they're like, what?
Yeah, I know. It sounds like
I started calling them toques because of being in Canada so much, and I
Oh my
actually
gosh.
liked the word better, so I started calling them toques.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just works. It just fits.
Where did you guys film your movie before we say bye?
Kelowna.
Oh,
It was beautiful.
so
Gorgeous.
beautiful.
Yeah, it was
Gorgeous. And like a 5-minute drive to set most of the time, which was like, oh, so nice. It was
Don't you
so
love
nice.
it?
Nice.
I love that Hallmark uses Canada so much. And my favorite moment in every Hallmark Christmas movie is always this. When you ask the police officer or the co-worker a question and he says, sorry, what'd you say? And I'm like, oh yeah, we're in Chicago. Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Well, I do want to say to everybody watching, thank you for being with us. And please tune in Sunday night. It's going to be a great, great, great fun evening. And
I
thank you
had a
for
family see it
being there
and
with
they said the best part that they'd already seen the screener and they were like, it's about our movie and I'm sure but they were like, it's so much fun. And it was something like I like my kids loved it. My wife loved it. Our mother, like, it was nice. Like it's a family movie. They're kind of rare.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to watch your movie, Holiday Mismatch.
And we'll be
Lauren,
watching yours too.
Thank you so much. I can't wait for ours to air. And yeah, everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the continued love and support. We truly appreciate every single one of you. And we're sending all of our love and Merry Halloween. And
Merry Halloween.
Christmas.
Thank you. Bye, Nikki.
Bye.
Bye, guys.